Hello, hello, and welcome to Awaken Your Human Design. My name is Moni. This is my wonderful co-host, Danny, and we are starting a new series today. Since spooky season has officially begun, we're going to go through all the fear gates in human design.
It should be really interesting. You know, there's 20 of these things. We're just doing the spleen tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fun. Like, it's kind of funny because originally it's like I knew the spleen had fears, but I didn't realize it was actually all the awareness centers. I thought it was just the spleen.
Right.
So
that's why it's the 20 faces of fear or something. I think was the name of the recording he made, the 20, ways of fear. Yeah. We're dealing with what spleen has how many? 7.
7.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to go through the seven fears of the spleen center, going through the individual, the tribal, and the collective. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Which is one of the spleen gate fears available around Halloween?
44, because it's historical memory.
No kidding.
I know. Yeah, we're totally going to do the holidays in human design. We're going to do a Halloween episode, which is really fun. But yeah, so Halloween is right when gate 44, which is about historical memory, ancestral memory, survival. It's like old ancestral fear. And so it kind of just makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you to everyone who is watching live, watching on the replay, liking, subscribing, asking questions, commenting, hanging out. We love having you. And let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So first up, we're going to first off just explaining what awareness centers are in human design. So awareness centers are potential areas of consciousness and self-awareness. And when these awareness centers, when they actually reach to the throat, the energy becomes an expression of conscious intelligence. So we have 3 awareness centers within human design. We have the spleen, which is ancient fears, it's survival awareness. Then you have the ajna up top, and that is about mental intelligence and cognitive awareness. And then finally, we have the solar plexus, which is about emotional, spirit intelligence and relational and social awareness, because it has to do with like interacting in that way.
It's worth pointing out on just these 3. I know there's more to read on the slide, but just to all 3, to wrap it up for all 3, they give us so much as our ability to make sense of the world and make meaning making through the language we use and everything. And so they each have their own little resonance, their own way, their own type of a vibration. Spleen is merely moment to moment. One moment is different from the next. It's just moment to moment, and it doesn't care about the moment before. It's only now. Mind is over all of time because it contains memory. So the wave or the arc of mind it goes in and it's there over all of time. That's why you remember stuff when you were little. And the emotional solar plexus to take both of those things and put them in a wave that is temporary over time. And as it moves through its up and down cycle, it gains its clarity and then throws back to the mind. Mind's like, I'll make some sense out of that. And then back to the spleen. Yeah, we're safe. And these things have enabled each other to be a little trifecta. Last thing, prior to 1781, this solar plex was not online. Our awareness was limited to spleen and then ajna. That's a pretty big deal. We didn't have the capacity to make emotional sense out of stuff the way we do now. Just go back to literature, you'll see.
Yeah, I mean, pre-1781, they were very different humans walking around than as we are now.
Indeed. So I just thought I'd say that.
Yeah, thank you. I love when you flesh things out for me. It always helps out. So yeah, so overall, these awareness centers, they focus and interpret life experience as body, mind, and spirit awareness.
Totally. Yeah, that's body, mind, spirit. I love it. That's them.
Yeah, that's what they do. So continuing on, today we are going to be focusing on the spleen. Next week and the week after, we'll do the ajna and the solar plexus. So for today, the spleen is about survival and physical fears. This is like animalistic fears you can think of. And these are fundamental and basic fears of survival. And the fear is a byproduct of the awareness. That awareness brings uncertainty about the nature of the world. And the spleen is our most ancient awareness that's holding our deepest fears.
The thing is, this thing has its own little mind. It collects the memory of all of this. It's got a powerful memory gate in gate 44 and technically in gate 50 as well. they all have a memory to them, and so they're holding on to those things that are survival oriented, and it's a wide variety of survivalness, such that when you have it open, you don't always feel safe. And you come to somebody who does have it open, has it defined, and you know, start talking with them, suddenly feel a little bit safer.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it's our spleen. It's this place that helps wash the blood. This is the beginning of our immune system and the home of our immune system. Little noses and mouths and touchy things touching every little bit of the environment. And by the way, there's streams of awareness that run through here. We'll go over them in a future episode. But one of them is about taste, your own judgment and taste for something. So we've actually got to like it, or it can't stay into the collective memory, into the memory of the spleen itself. So, and these fears, they drive intelligence, is the thing. um, a fawn comes out of its mom and it can walk right over to the lion to say hi to it. No awareness yet, right? I mean, just we've seen the nature shows. I hate watching that particular clip. I see it once in a while. It's awful. It's like, and I just look away. But anyway, that no spleen yet, not online yet, just
Yeah,
no
not
awareness.
developed, undercooked.
So think about it, a basic awareness of all the things that will keep you safe inside and out. That includes even place. I know place is the home of the monopole, but fear of it, not the right place, you know, as it relates to not healthy, this thing will tell you. It fires up the awareness that trains the killer T cell coming out of the thymus of G826. So everything internal about us is the spleen. So people with an open spleen tend to make great doctors because they hear every little thing. They're very much in tune with the things that go on inside of them. And if you have a defined spleen like Ra would have, and you know what, almost everyone I know with a defined spleen always says, I'm fine. And they don't care about those little things we notice, those of us with an open spleen, as much. And why should they? They have a defined spleen. It's stronger in that way. It'll already keep their immune system pumping until they're wicked too sick. Then they'll know, which happens regularly enough. So fear drives intelligence. I'm afraid of this. We could all get killed here. I get intelligent. I'm afraid of, I just don't feel, dude, there's nothing worth it. There's no purpose here. Fear drives the thing. So we have all these things in here that happen moment to moment, and they're designed to keep us physically safe inside and out in the now. Softest voice too. All these things have voices, by the way. They speak right to us. This voice is the softest of the awareness so you'll miss it if you're not even looking.
Yeah, the spleen is that like little voice that kind of whispers something and it doesn't repeat itself because it's already going through to scan the body again for the next
Yep.
little whisper
Yep.
to tell you.
Yep. And if the same fear is there, it will repeat itself, but louder, differently. It's always different, and it's always moment to moment. And that's why we have this. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed, but like if you're in a almost car accident, you don't quite get into the accident. You just missed it. You're skidding, whatever. That's scary. You're present in the now. That's spleen business. You're present in the now. It doesn't even matter if hot coffee spilled. It's you're present now. And so as soon as it's over, spleen has no need to hang on to that. Very reason a gazelle shakes it off after a lion almost killed it and its baby. Do that to one of us, and we're on a psychiatric couch for a little while or something. You know what I mean? We've got things going on that we hold on to.
I would
These are not to be held on to, they're to be witnessed.
Yeah, I would imagine with animals, they probably just have the spleen. They don't have like the ajna or the solar plexus. So animals, that's actually like a nervous system thing. Like an animal will like almost be attacked and just get away and it'll shake it off. And that's actually a thing you can incorporate into your life. It's called rebounding is the official word. But if you just like bounce after something happens, you can help calm down your nervous system in that way.
Yeah. Every time that happens to me, I have this series of sounds and things that just pour out of me, and I'm always so psyched. I'm like, that was thrilling. We are not in the accident. You know what I mean? And
we made it through.
And it takes up to a few seconds for reality to start creeping back in. You know, she's powerful. You got to listen to her. So that's our spleen. It's always telling us.
Yeah, I had like another little thing to share with the spleen and this idea of like ancestral memory. There was some animal test they did some years ago where it was with mice, and they had like a mice in a cage or whatever, and then they pumped in the smell of cherry blossoms, and then they did something unkind to the mice that the mice didn't like, that so they would like have that fear response, and then they let those mice reproduce a few generations down, and so now you had like however many generations down of mice who had never experienced the negative stimulus, but when the smell of cherry blossoms was pumped in, they would be afraid, because that ancestral memory of the scent of this scent equals danger passed through the line.
Whoa, yes, of course. Of course, this genome of ours on this planet, when I say of ours, of the entirety, it is a very intelligent design. I mean, very, very intelligent indeed.
Mm-hmm. And then the other final thought, because you asked about like Halloween and which of the spleen gates are lit up, and it's the 44. But what's interesting is we are actually in the time when all the spleen gates, all 7 gates of the spleen, are getting lit up one by one by one by one over these 7 weeks.
Yep.
Through like, you know, end of October or end of September and into like October and stuff. So it makes sense even that like October is spooky season. It literally is. We're going through each of the spleen gates of, oh, be afraid of this, be afraid of this, be afraid of this, be afraid of this. And then we finally hit Halloween with gate 44, which is just like, am I going to survive? And like, is my tribe or my people going to survive? And what do you do in order to like face the fear? You put on more scary than what you could be afraid of. It's like the idea of a gargoyle. You put a gargoyle on the old cathedral.
That's very interesting, Moni. My goodness. Yes, you face the thing,
Yeah, and you make
up to
yourself
and
something
including
more scary.
you put on your ceremonial war face. Whether you don't have to go to war, you put it on. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. You put the gargoyle on the cathedral to scare off the demons. So you put on your scary mask. So just the idea of
why
how
did we come up with 1031? Do you know? Besides,
I'm gonna go into it with our Holidays in Human Design series that
okay.
will be
All right. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's not
releasing.
get off track. Sorry
I know.
about that. Spleen, people. Spleen.
Spleen.
Yes. Spleen.
It's
Big words. I
related.
noticed the big word. Yeah.
Yeah, fears of the spleen. That's what they're about. Ready to mosey? Human design nerds go off script.
Dude, it's so good.
I love it.
Everyone should be so lucky.
It is fun. It is fun to have this language we can share between ourselves and notice things and have a way to communicate about it. So continuing on, we're going to start off with the tribal gates of the spleen to talk about these fears. So tribal fears are about the duration of the family and the community. So we're going to start off with gate 50, which is about responsibility and the fear of being burdened, the fear of too much responsibility. Can I handle the responsibility? Gate 50 is about nurturing others. It's about nurturing your people and the demands of consistent and surplus resources of it's constantly going to be there. You constantly have to take care of this kid. You constantly have to feed them and do all these things. So it's like, can I do it? Will I be able to continue that on?
And it even has a deep resonance into its companion, its compadre over on the other side with the gate 6. And the fears of the spleen will absolutely ring over to gate 6 and let them know that they are or are not open to intimacy. You know, even if suddenly their body gets turned on, spleen can turn it off if you're aware. Mostly people will, you know, railroad right over that, steamroll right over that.
Or just not know why. Something will shut down and they don't know why. I don't know, it just got weird, and then they kind of check out. And
then and they go through with the whole other process anyway. So it's, I like that the tribe is a little over weighted inside the spleen than the other two. So the individual and the collective get 2 each, but the tribe has 3. It's weighted towards the needs of the tribe. And need is a big important word that travels through these 3 gates we're about to read. Go through. 50 starts up the splenic awareness. So imagine your design. You're looking at your design. Imagine that there are designs of insects, of fish and fowl, of just mammals, of simply reptiles. So there's of a rock. There's a design of a rock. It's gate 25. That's all there is. So every blade of grass, every cell, everything. It's got the single cell. The cell has its own design. Nothing else has this thing that guarantees a sacral, fires up our awareness. It gave us a unique competitive edge to have a sustained, powerful awareness here for this first 100,000 years we went through, where mind only came on board and got a real slow roll. So spleen was in charge for a long time before mind took over. So we got lots of that built into our DNA, and this thing starts it up. It's got this incredible need to set law and make it just right. I mean, that's about the most important thing about Gate 50 is it's an awareness for all of the tribe safety. That means considering basic human rights and human values. Even Gate 18, where basic human values must be upheld. It gets that from 50. 50 gave it those values. 50 gives everything in here its values. 28's purpose, 57's right now. Basically, 50 told Gate 40 and 57, you guys are on the clock. What's tomorrow and what was the past? And 48, it's like, you've got a desk job, but always keep looking. 18, you're out in the field doing stuff. 28, sit there and ponder. We need to hear from you. 32, keep busy and keep track of all the stuff. It gave everyone its job. And it's almost all geared towards the tribe in a way, but these 3 gates are 50 sets the law, the values, and really provides a sturdy undergirding for our 9-centered way that was not there before. Think about that. I mean, heavy duty. The fact that we're here still is the work of this gate.
Well, and it's also like the tribe sets the basis for the individual to exist or even survive. It's like, look up the horrible stories about feral children after wars and like, like it's not all like Mowgli in the jungle and Tarzan and like your friends with the gorilla. Like it's really quite horrific. It's like the kids that are abandoned in those ways, if they are abandoned before like age 6 or 7, like they will not survive at all. And even after that, they'll be pretty messed up. So it's like, it makes sense that the spleen is weighted heavy on the tribe with the 3 gates as opposed to the 2 of the individual and the 2 of the collective, because it's the foundation. You need to have a strong enough foundation for the individual to survive, and then for those 2 to be good enough for the collective to even have a chance.
So much of our process foundationalizes through this tribal construct and dead ends through this tribal construct. And it's unique that it only has its one outlet to the throat for manifestation. So the rest of the tribe is kept neat and clean and tucked away in tribal land. You know what I mean? It's not assaulted by all the manifestation that the other 2 sets of circuitry are. How many? 4 in the collective and 4 in the individual, 5 in the individual. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. This one's only got 1. And so these 3 voices end up having 1 voice out, and it's straight through only the tribe. 50 sets the tone for what are the morals, what will the values end up being. I've got a deep well, and its fear is the fear of this is too much responsibility. We won't be able to keep our values. Sort of like, a lot of things I won't say, but too much immigration. So yeah, that's 50. Its fear is too much responsibility. Think about that. Too much responsibility. It's just too much. And it can drive someone to not get married, to not this, to not never have a baby. So check in with your strategy and authority, because this gate sets the pace for the rest of the spleen.
Yeah, I have gate 27, which hooks up to gate 50, but I don't have gate 50. I just have 27. And then, so it's like, I do definitely have a fear of like, I don't have the consistent energy to care for X, Y, Z. Like
this gate even informs 27. It's throwing its tribal and ancient ancestral genetic memory. It's splashing it out over the whole design, and certainly over the tribe, and certainly at that 27, it's splashing it all. Hey, 27, even you're aware. Sometimes you'll take on too much, absolutely.
Awesome. Ready to mosey on to the next gate?
Ready. 50 sets it all up. I'm glad we started here.
It felt right.
Yep.
So next up, we have gate 32, which is this fear of failure and this fear of a lack of talent and not having enough resources for the continuity of the tribe.
Yeah, the resources for the 32 is its capacity to keep a continuity. That's the prime resource. 54 is already bringing the drive. It's already going to make it happen. It's the motor. Let the motor do the work of the motor. This thing is the driver of that motor. So it's there to keep splenic awareness. This fear of failure says, don't go too far. We're not going far enough. And it keeps a governor on that and on that idling. So, it would like to set its cruise control right at, 65, the national speed limit, whatever it is. No tickets, no nothing, conservative. Just why bother? Why you're not going to get there any faster? 32 invented the phrase, why are you risking a speeding ticket? You and I are going to end up there at the same time if I just drove the speed limit. And
Yeah.
it's almost always about true within a minute.
Yeah,
at
it's like
most.
2-3 minutes of just, it's not worth the stress to drive fast.
If it's just a trek across town, it's basically nothing. I'll already see them being pulled over in the driveway while I'm moseying on up, right,
Yeah,
18 seconds behind, if even. So,
like you did it.
yeah. So that's 32. It invents that phrase, but it can go too far. If you live in the fear of failure, you won't then let go. And the spleen is designed to let go. That's the thing. The open spleen, not self, is, holding on to things that aren't good for you for too long, especially. And the not self of a defined spleen, if this isn't a defined center, is the same exact thing. It's holding on to it, and it's a fear of just letting go.
Mm.
It's just
Like
this
not even
fear of like,
trying.
it's like, this isn't, I don't want the new. It's the rejection of the meaning of this gate. If you go to the subheading below the name of continuity, I think you're going to find this recognition that the only thing is permanent is change. And we have to stay on the lookout for being conservatives to not let the changes sweep us away. I've got a gate 44 as my taskmaster above. And when we get to that, you'll see why. And all of it's informed by the values. The values of the tribe say, no, 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 let's just stay here. It's conservative. Or the values of the tribe say, no, we got to take a little risk here, dude. We're taking on water here. Let's risk it up a little bit so we can do whatever the thing is that's going to bring material and business and jobs and a continuity so that the tribe has all of these things and it can do all of these things in factories and in an archetype of an example, and little stores and business generally speaking, and some movement. In our terms, it would be business. If it were 1,000 years ago, it would still be some form of business, but it would be different, enough oil in all the tanks, winter's coming, all this stuff is this gate's continuity it's always looking at. And it's driven by the love of the tribe and the values that love guarantees through gate 50.
Perfect. Feel good about 32?
Yeah. Anything else I should say about 32? Because I ended on 50 and I want to make sure I didn't drift from 32 too soon.
Yeah. So 32, it's about the duration of the tribe. It's that conservatism, like you said, where it's, hey, maybe let's not drive 90 in the 65. It's not worth it. But then also being that sense of maybe not trying enough, because 32 connects with with gate 54. 54 is about ambition. It's about tribal ambition. So if you're too caught up in the fears of 32 and, well, I don't want to fail, so I'm not even going to try, then it could stifle the ambition of gate 54.
And in that way, the spleen, not self of that defined spleen, and still holds on to what wasn't good for it. But really what it was just holding on to its fear. So it can't hear. Remember, moment to moment. So a moment later, it didn't hear. 54 is like, dude, I'm driven. We're going to make this thing work. We're starting Alphabet. We're starting blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm the PayPal king now. Whatever it is. And 32 says no can do. So.
Yeah. So like the overall theme, yeah, it's like that fear of failure, and that overall theme that I think we're going to get to with all the awareness centers is the fear has its place, but not letting it hinder you from living your life.
Each one of these names, as you recognize them in your life, the practice to go home and do to become aware of yourself and whom you really are is to witness them and then literally allow them and see if you can let them go within the moment that they take place, within shortly thereafter. You're supposed to let them go. They're just there to ring the bell. Hey, look over there. Hey, look over there. Remember, little fingers and pads and nose and lips and tongues and sniffing and tasting and microalizing every last thing to make sure the whole thing is safe. That's safe, not safe. Good, not good. Fear, not fear. And that's what it's supposed to do. Just let it.
Yeah, it's sensory knowledge. It's why when you hug your family, you hug your tribe, you get a smell on them. You get like, is this a good smell? Is this a good vibe? Is this a bad vibe? Good touch, bad touch kind of stuff.
Totally. All of these things, the fear picks up right away.
Perfect.
Especially in the splenic area. Yep. Tribal area is what I meant to say.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. Next up, we have gate 44, which is about the past and historical memory. This is the fear of extinction. This is a very, very deep fear. And it's this fear of not having enough, not being enough, like not anything enough to continue the genetics in the family line.
Well, so this fear of extinction, the thing is, this is actually, in a way, our oldest splenic gate. There's every case to be made that this was the first one, this particular one, because obviously it just everything always had to concern what almost just killed it a second ago was the constant,
The
battle
record.
as an amoeba. And so I'm pretty sure 44 started all off. It is our oldest primordial, deep-seated, genetic, old brain reptilian awareness. And I use all these words because this is where we interface with the reptile form, with the reptilian form through 44. 44 is our oldest instinctual awareness, and this is where we have an interface in that part of the animal kingdom as human interfaced into them. So fear of the past and the fear of extinction is a deep thing, and we don't normally put it in terms of fear of extinction. It's just that because it is the bottom line, it's the reason we have peace through strength, because no one wants to go extinct, right? If someone lights that match, everyone knows what the likely outcome is, and it's everyone's dead, including those people in bunkers. So its fear is deep-seated, and it can be easily held on to. When you see this pouring through, allow it to be like, I don't even need that right now. It was just reminding me. I'm just being reminded. Or why am I being reminded? I don't know. I'll find out. I'm alert. That's the name of the gate. Alertness. As soon as it gives you a fear, allow yourself to be alert. Coming to meet is what is done with it. And what you're doing with this is you're coming to meet with the most consequential things that guarantee the lack of extinction. And ultimately the thriving. It's not just sitting here, we're afraid of extinction. It wants to thrive. It wants to finish delivering the material message and the material things into the tribe through gate 26. It wishes to basically finish what 32 started, but it is also the boss of 32 in a way. If you got them both, 44 decides how the message will transmit. It's not 32. So in that way, it's the boss of. It's not really, no gate is the boss of another gate. I'm just saying that in a way, it's controlled in that way.
It's a
And this,
continuation of.
yeah, absolutely. So what else can we say about 44? This alertness to come to meet, to basically confer on the message, on the next action, on what awareness do we really have. And the coming to meet is of the tribal trusted only, essentially. It's
Yeah,
not like the king, the gatherer, gathers everyone.
Yeah, it's the historical memory. And it's like, I already met this one before this was weird.
Mm. And coming to meet helps ferret out that we can trust this so that the continuity 32 is so good at keeping gets kept. So it's the protector of the continuity as well. The continuity doesn't get kept when you bring a bunch of clowns into the fold. 44 is clown sensitive. It doesn't want to be in clown world. It's wicked practical. It's cool that way.
Yeah, and what is it, the 44-26, because 44 is the historical memory and the 26 is like that will to express it out. People who have this, you might be especially interested in history, right? Because it's like, if you're like, the past, then I don't have to be afraid of the past. Like I studied history, like I have a 44 hanging, and I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. And it's my only splenic gate. So it's like, if I know enough things about the past, then it can't repeat and it can't like hurt me again and it can't do that. So what is it? Ken Burns, the documentarian, he does like different historical documentaries. He has the 44-26, and I thought that was fun.
No kidding. Jordan Peterson only has the 26, I think.
No, he has the 44-26, and then he's split definition. So he has like the will and the historical memory and the will of it, but it has to be invited out of him, because even though he's a manifester, that's a projected channel within his split definition of his emotional manifestoriness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So coming to meet, bringing the right forces, gathering beneficial forces without necessarily preconceived notions is the guarantee of some form of basic finishing success. That's how the subheading of that reads. Not exactly verbatim, but that's what it's doing. It knows, get rid of the preconceptions. It knows we're alert. It knows we meet with only the trusted, because I have to find out if you're no good, because people that are no good lead to extinction. because I'm alert to all that. And I got a partner in 26 that sometimes I have to control and manipulate. And because I'm so alert, I even know how to manipulate myself. So 44 is doing all of this stuff to make sure the continuity is kept.
44 is also related to smell and the nose and being able to smell a rat.
Yes. Good one, Moni.
Thanks.
That's wicked true.
Yeah, because again,
Deeply.
historical memory, don't screw me over again. I've been screwed over like that before. I know how a rat smells because I've smelled that frequency before. I've gotten that sense of that expression, of that pattern, of that frequency. Yeah.
Me too, totally. By the way, this incredible, extraordinary clarity of 57, which we'll get to, that possibility to penetrate into the future, that aspect is imbued in all of the splenic gates. 44 can see where something's going to be going into the future. 32, same thing. All of them see what's going to happen into the future as I do this now, which is where much of the fear comes from. You know, it's like this won't be any good later. But so 44's big capacity to stir up the right knowing of which is worth preserving and which isn't.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like it's survival memory. Oh, and the other thing I've noticed this because I got the 44 hanging. My sister has the 4426, and like we can get along great until there is a clash in our memory of something that happened. And then it's just like hitting a brick wall where it's like, I remember this thing happening and she remembers this other thing happening. So I've noticed that like, what if the tribal memory clashes? One person's tribal memory is like this was another person's. So that could kind of be a tension point.
That's so funny. Mine is in the line of sixth line of aloofness,
Nice.
standing back to watch beforehand. And so when I run into that compromise, I run into it and I'm aloof about it.
Isn't that lucky for you? I'm a fifth
Apparently.
line.
Yeah, you're fifth line on that.
Woof. All right,
You're
you ready?
projected on. Yeah.
Constantly. I have 8 of them.
Really?
I have 8 fifth lines in my chart.
Sister.
Yeah.
Very sexy, Moni.
I don't mean to be. I don't mean to be. But thank you. Ready to
Moving on.
Moving on.
So we've left the tribe, everyone. We've left the tribe. We're now moving into, I assume, the individual, right?
Yeah, we're going to be going into the individual.
Totally different. So we've left out of 51 and we're moved into the individual process.
Yeah, my last comment on the tribe is that the burden of the tribe is upon the shoulder of the ego.
It is. And all roads lead to the ego. All tribal roads lead to the ego. Even the defense circuit, you can draw a straight line.
Yeah, because the ego is like the home, the will, the heart, whatever you want to call it. It's the home of the tribe. So the tribe's survival is ultimately on the will of like the ego, since it's mostly tribal.
And the fears we just read of the 50, the 32, and the 44 have everything to do with a deep sensitivity towards all of this. And it's sensitive, and the stream of awareness is called the stream of instinct, by the way. We'll get to these streams later, and it creates an instinctual way for the tribe to keep it together. And it's cool. It's good. It goes through the spleen. It's not emotional. Not emotional. This side can kill. Well, both sides can, trust me. Both sides of the tribe. The tribe can kill, dude. It's the tribe that like creates ritual and stuff. Let's, just say it like it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, in that regard, the spleen would be like cold-blooded, logical, kind of like Dexter style, whereas like the solar plexus would be like a hot-blooded crime of passion kind of situation.
Yep, except for 49's butcher, but that's more for the animals, obviously.
Well, for now, let's mosey on to the tribe. Or to the individual. So
yeah, the individual's like, I'm getting out of here, man. You guys, there's a lot of stuff. I'm going to individual land.
I'm going to do my own thing. So the individual, so we're going to talk about the individual fears of the spleen. And these are about like what can be, what tomorrow can become, what's going to happen. And so starting off, we're going to go to gate 28, which is about this fear of death, or really that this fear of life is purposeless, that it has no meaning. And this fear prods for us to search the depths for answers, bringing fulfillment and purpose. It's a drive to find purpose through love and loving life.
and what's the fight for, and we almost always fight for that which we love, and it deeply gets a love of self, the way the self is recognizing its own safety within the greater empowerment of the other. So it's looking at both. It's deeply, deeply sensitive to its own stubbornness when it's not sure, and so you can't make 28 do things. You can trick it, or it can do it naturally as itself, but making it do something, just like the 38 was like trying to take it to, bring a horse to water, can't make it always drink, and you can't even move a mule. I want to get a donkey, by the way.
What are you going to do with the donkey, Danny?
I just because they're lifelong friends. They live a long time, and they have this unconditional love type thing going on. They give purpose. That's the only reason I brought it up. They're a purpose driven thing. They live a long time and stay at a thing. They're like they could be a symbol for 28, sort of. That's my own little personal thing. But the fear of death of this thing, it's the fear of dying without an actual purpose. And it would be the awareness of, oh my God, not now. 44 can be afraid of death as like, oh, not want to die, period. Just won't die. Got to keep the continuity, and all that. 32 as well. But this particular gate is basically answering a larger question, not like this. Not just, oh my God, I don't want to die. It's, I don't want to die like this. Not yet. Haven't made it. Haven't answered the question. Didn't climb the mountain yet. Just, we didn't get to the top. I can't go out now. And because of that, it drives gate 28 to be called what it's called, the game player, the gate of purpose, the gate of, we might have to take some risks, a gambler. This gate gambles. It gambles with its own survival. It's antithetical. Because it will burn it. This will leap as sure as the 51 will, but this one will basically guide it. 51 is it, you know what I'm saying? And so it is antithetical to the tribe. Tribe's like, get all that crazy crap out of here. I don't care what purpose it has. Keep this thing going. We have to be sensitive to the needs for the support of the tribe. Just period. That's your job. And 28 is like, no, this can't be all of it. My partner 51 made me leap. 25 caught me and said me first. You know what I mean? 57 gave me the awareness. And now I'm making all of them pay attention to me because 28 is this one particular special gate that makes everything above it bend and pay attention to it. That's how important its awareness is. And the ajna picks it up and does what the pressure sent. When you've got good 28 going on, the ajna doesn't mind trying to figure out what the pressure from the head center is asking to translate our existence. I got my purpose. The existence is this. It's got reasons for all of this. And its fear of death without it is profound. Is sadder and sadder and sadder will it get. And then this melancholy of it will come in and have the melancholy of purposelessness. Essentially, is the melancholy of 28. And it's like, I don't even know what my purpose is. Might as well take the ultimate risk and do myself in, see what happens then. Because this thing will gameplay right up to the point of accidentally, going
Pushing too far.
Pushing too far. So, great game player here. Great depth of melancholy here. The fear of not enough purpose drives an incredible, beautiful purpose. And what's the individual's job in this individual? By the way, we talk about intuition all day long. The stream of intuition for humanity drives through the spleen. It starts at 38 and it goes up through 28, 57 to 20. And it is called the stream of intuition. It's not instinct anymore. It's our own individual survival, surviving as ourself. A whole bunch of spleen energy is being used so that we can survive as ourself. Bambi's Animal Kingdom doesn't quite do that the same unless you're in a Disney movie and they're making it up. They're not quite themselves. They're still pack tribal animals more so than anything. We're the ones that be like, we'll hold out for a purpose. Stubborn. It's like, dude, that purpose doesn't feed you. We're still going to hold out for it. Tribe says it doesn't feed you. Individual says doesn't matter. So these things drive attention. What did we have a couple episodes ago where we found out that tension thing? And I forgot which episode was it?
Harmony, that's about the quarter of duality.
Tension and harmony. Well, there's a tension and harmony in everything, and duality teaches us that. And there's definitely tension and harmony here because this gate can make, almost like a format gate, can make the rest of the body graph pay attention to it. like over a longer term, like in a substantive way, rung with the right values, in the right depth, and the right everything else. But its fear of purposelessness will drive it to make some mistakes. If you have this gate in your body graph, you're going to take a risk to find purpose. Please remeasure, because the intelligence of the fear of purposelessness is to say, don't take the stupid chance. Literally drive more time more slowly, and physically allow whatever's supposed to take place. Realize that's not the right direction. This will help change your direction right away. You just look at not the right purpose. I can't do it. Meeting with people and they don't jive with you, or someone's like low vibe or something, no purpose here. I can't. And this gate will give that to you. So I like gate 28.
Yeah. And also you made me think of kind of the distinction between having gate 28 with an defined and an undefined center. Because when you have this defined, like I have a friend who has the 2838, it's his only channel, and like his stories are like, what did you do? How did you do? What are the different ways you almost died? Like the craziest, wildest stories. But he at least has that defined spleen that's looking out for him of like, is this safe? Can you survive this? Whereas if you have gate 28 on an undefined spleen, anyone with an undefined spleen, really don't do things spontaneously. You know,
Yeah.
like those of us
Right.
with the undefined spleen, spontaneity is not for us because we don't actually have that continuous awareness looking out for our health like a defined spleen does. But especially with gate 28, because it has that, I want life to have a purpose and have meaning, and I'm going to go skydiving. It's like, maybe not. Maybe
Or
be
how
really
about this one?
careful.
I just, I'm not going home yet. I'm taking my paycheck and I'm buying scratch tickets. One of them's going to hit and we're going to triple up. And then you spent your whole paycheck. And now, oops,
Oops a doodle.
things like that, risk taking, that if it isn't there. So yeah, if it is on an undefined spleen, you know what, we've always talked about this, spontaneity is not our friend. It isn't when it's catastrophic spontaneity or consequential
Or
spontaneity.
doing something crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make us have unspontaneity. We're spontaneous all over the place within, the binds and the confines of stuff that isn't really taking a risk. You and I spontaneously get on the phone. We're all excited. There's all kinds of spontaneity. You don't need to have a defined spleen for it. It's just that.
About taking risks, be
Yeah.
careful.
Yep.
Yeah, because I only have gate 44 on an undefined spleen. And like, yeah, I don't have that defined spleen keeping me safe or giving me that constant warning that someone with a defined spleen would have. But I will definitely pick up data from people or something of like, it's time to go, like run, you're about to be jumped, like GTFO kind of stuff. So it's not like we don't have that knowledge coming in. It's just inconsistent with an undefined spleen.
Yep. So you get used to that. And of course, bring yourself in for a reading, and get yourself read so we can show you how all that works. Most amazing thing you'll ever experience. But I feel pretty good with gate 28.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Overall, gate 28, and it links up with gate 38, which 38 is the fighter. So it's almost like there's nothing worth fighting for, not knowing what is worth fighting for.
Part of the cross of the unexpected as well.
Yeah.
Its opposition is 27. So it's got to care about what it's going to defy death over and what purpose it will have, because this gate will defy death. By the way, if you're healthy and you have a gate 28, you're not going to let yourself die until that purpose is met. So this is a cat that can take like 22 bullets and he finally makes it to the button to press it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Great.
Well, it's an incredible mover, dude. It's an incredible mover.
Oh, it is. It just sometimes it's funny to know how to respond to the things you say. Ready to mosey?
They're very guy oriented, I notice.
Well, you're a dude.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Let's move on.
Moving on. So next up we have gate 57. Gate 57 is about the future and the fear of tomorrow and the fear of not being able to find the form for survival. And the lesson of integration is living in the now.
It just is now. It's got all the same things, the little intuition eyes and ears and senses and feelings and vibrations. Its whole body is the vibratory mechanism now. It's no longer just the nose and the ears. I mean, the nose and the touching, and the tasting with the tip of your tongue. It's even beyond that. The intuition is the whole body is now the instrument of the vibratory awareness through sound. Sound is the individual, unique resonance and frequency that we always look to when we're looking at individual circuitry. This stuff lives literally now. 57 sphere of the future is its sphere of tomorrow, and it's melancholy. It has a melancholy because it's individual, and its melancholy is tomorrow sucks. I don't want to look at tomorrow. They might, just try to avoid it altogether. They can't seem to figure out why tomorrow's going to be any better than today. And every time that melancholy comes in, it serves the 28 in the recognition of, this ain't for me. The purpose ain't here. The purpose is not here. This is a huge directional process. And that intuition, people are always saying, follow your intuition. This is our organic, nine-centered human capacity to have a motor from our spleen, from our root, go all the way up to the throat, be able to get a little hitch a ride from some gate 34 and some gate 27 along the way, and get that sacral juice and literally have intuition that responds, that is energized enough to do something, that lives right now, whose awareness is right now, and can actually penetrate into the future. Intuition sees things that you were not supposed to be able to see yet, but yet we do. That friend that was going to call you, and it's like, I'm thinking about him, and then he calls. All of humanity has experienced that so many times that everybody individually knows. If you just ask them over a cup of coffee, everyone knows that, oh yeah, that happens. We have something. We seem to communicate past our cognitive, what our eyes think it thinks it can see. This gate was, and these purposes were also here the moment we were standing upright. That took a while, but when we fully stood upright, the purpose changed even then. This gate 28 has been around a long time.
57.
I know, but the 28 that fed into it.
Because the 28 feeds into the 57.
And
okay.
So as it feeds into the 57 becomes acutely aware that its intuition is now expressible into the now. So between purpose and intuition, we express into the now the capacity to see into the future, to hear what no one else was noticing, to catch that slight crackle through your right ear of that person's voice that told you exactly what you needed to know. And 28 down there saying, listen, this doesn't fit our purpose. And 57 saying, no good, no good, no good now, no good now, no good, not leading to a good tomorrow, that's for sure. No good tomorrow, no good a minute from now. The fear of the future is a minute from now, as far as the spleen's concerned.
Perfect, because Leah just asked that question. It's only the immediate future, though, right? Like the now.
Until the not self gets a hold of it. What is mind's frequency? Remember, mind hangs on to things over all of time. So it will take one of those fears and say, my tomorrow sucks, period. For the next week, tomorrow continues to suck, type thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
guys?
I think so. That was a really good question.
But it is
then
only,
your timing, perfect.
Yeah, it was only supposed to be in the now. You watch it. I told you what to do with these spleen gates. You let them come and go and see how long did you hang on to it? Did you lose track and hang on to it way too long? Did you just let it go and realize mostly it doesn't matter because you've already made the correction? Half of the fears are just to put you aware. Yeah, I need gas tomorrow. It'll remind you again. The alarm goes off. Don't forget, part of it is gas. You need gas when you leave. Maybe, we don't know when spleen does it. So listen to it, let it float by, see if you can do that. It's a wicked cool experiment with the gates you have in the spleen.
Cool. Yeah, and the ear, the 57 is hearing. It's what is it, the left ear?
Right ear.
Right
22
ear.
is the left ear.
Okay.
Yep, the abstract ear is the left ear. The sort of practical in the now, purpose-filled ear is the right ear. It's tuning in for what's happening right now, and the left ear is tuning in for what it can hear and what it's going to go back to later because it now hears something else. So
that abstract.
22 tends to hear a couple of times. The time it heard and what it hears later in its own self. And 57 that's not practical. We're here right now because it's right now again. Oh darn, it's right now again. That's 57 and 28's job. And with that sudden ping into the world, these two gates and 57 most especially give us what 57 says: the capacity and the potential for extraordinary clarity, insight, intuition. Extraordinary clarity of intuition. Pretty powerful.
And it's cool noticing the sensory systems associated with these different splenic gates. Like the 50 is about touch, and you're touching your people. And the 44 is about smell and smelling a rat, and if something is off. And then the 57 is the right ear, about hearing that in the now logical kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like that putting your ear to the ground to, like, hear a stampede or, an army or whatever.
You don't put your left ear on the railroad track to see if you hear a train coming. We used to listen to railroad tracks when I was little. It was always the right ear. I don't know why I just remembered that, but that's what I remember doing. It was perfect. Yeah.
Great anecdote.
And we could hear them coming. It's like, oh, there's something on the track or there's nothing on the track. But yeah, so 57's extraordinary clarity and the profound capacity to see there's the wall, but for some reason I just had an intuition about, something that's an inch or two beyond that wall, but I can't see it. ESP is out of here, because all of it protects purpose. Extraordinary clarity and insight and intuition.
Yeah,
channel things. There's channelers through here, all kinds of stuff comes out of here.
Yeah, and the hexagram, the trigrams are wind over wind. So it's just that everything that just kind of coming in, drifting in, and that awareness to it.
Spleen's awareness is everywhere that you are, like the wind, period. It's wherever you are, it is there, and it's there beyond where you are. And we can't answer why that is. And we don't need to know. Just know you have it. Trust it. It's your intuition. Every mom has it, whether you have these gates or not. So.
And then we have another question from Leah, because this is her only spleen gate. So so first off, Leah said some really interesting stuff earlier, and then I'll get to her question, because she has splenic projector with fear motivation and survival perspective. So fear seems to be her destiny. And so then we were talking about gate 57. And so she said, so she's feeling fearful. She's in the not self, correct? Because real issues, these pings, are only now events. Can you add some clarity there?
They are only now events, each and every one of them. And to the degree to which, let's pick a number, Leah, both you guys, let's pick a number. Let's say 10, let's go 10 minutes first to give you a good wide berth. To the degree to which that fear carries on greater than 5 or 10 minutes, that's when, and then what you'll see is, the time shortens up until you get back to where the 4-year-old was at its little factory settings. Remember, I always say the kid is always right. And you'll see, that kid was done with these things usually within seconds, almost every time. And only when he started hanging on to them did his not self start being programmed, more thoroughly along the way. So, yes, to answer your questions. And if it's wicked hard, good. I love you so much that good. You'll see, the harder it is, the clearer you see as you start to see. So, and if it's not that hard, then you've already seen. So all the way, either way.
Perfect. Ready for moving on?
I love Greg and Leah. They just say stuff. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for saying stuff. So the thing to remember about these individual fears is only when there's something to fear in the moment itself. So perfectly to Leah's question. Otherwise, there's an enormous burden of resources to be endlessly alert on stuff.
What are all these gates? The spleen is heavy. What's the motor the spleen is connected to most? Right? The root. It's got 2 ways into the sacral. So the sacral is always there to generate a response through spleen. So any spleen gates you've got, there's a potential for responsiveness like a generator, except you won't be a generator if you're not a generator, but you get what I'm saying. That's how quick it all is. But what is this root doing? Adrenalized stress. How long are we supposed to leave that thing on? Long enough, no more. That's how long we're supposed to use this stress feature of our root center, this adrenaline that comes out of us. We'll get fatigued otherwise. In fact, we do get fatigued. By the way, the longer we hold on to the spleen fears, the tireder we get, the quicker it speeds up.
Cool. And then we had another comment from Amanda. Hey, Amanda, nice to see
Amanda.
you again. She's got 5 gates of the spleen defined in a defined spleen, the 1648, the 5432, also emotional authority by the 1949. The hardest thing is to know when to trust my intuition and be spontaneous and when to follow her authority. Oh, that's very interesting when you have both the spleen defined and the solar plexus. That's a great question.
Well, you always end up realizing, and I'm going to just pretend there's a question in all of this, is what you're always realizing is the fact that the emotional awareness is what rules, no matter how spontaneous or alluring the spleen's efficient ways might be in the now. The spleen might efficiently be like, I'm done with that. Solar plex might say, So what you're looking for always is that delicate balance that says, oh, this is bigger than spleen. This is big. No, sorry. Well, what do you mean? It wasn't bigger than me 2 minutes ago. That was something else. That was then. You can always say that, well, that was then to the spleen, because every then for the spleen might as well have been a million years ago. Once it's out of it, it's new now is profound. It's truly now. So the spontaneity that can come out of there, you do the things, but as soon as solar plex starts to, you'll know you have an emotional nervousness that sort of pulls a little bit of the bounce out of your step, puts a little bit of question mark that is now beyond the spleen's pale. It's not meant to deal with those questions that have facets and things you can add to it, and with some certain concepts. That's the thing. The solar plex is also there to deal with our concepts. So there'll be concepts inside of this. Spleen's like concept, schmoncept. What are you doing? I got now, right now. And so you're teasing these out so that as soon as it is the bigger thing and you realize, I wanted to be spontaneous, spleen, all these awesome gates. Dude, you're talented. You get excited. You want it all to work. You're telling everybody suddenly. Now you're driven. They can't make you slow down. You're a 54. 1648 becomes talented. You got depth. You're afraid of your own depth, but sometimes you're not. And then you get rolling with it all. 1949 says, whoa, 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 whoa. You're bleeding out all our resources, energy, a lot. And I don't know about any of this. And now I went too fast. Mommy, I ate too much. Essentially, because the spontaneity is alluring. Dude, when you got 1648, you want to be excited about the thing you're about to share. And by the way, you're compelled to share. Under the season of Christ, I compel you. I compel you. Can't exercise this stuff out of us. I've got a gate 16. It won't work. That's so funny.
Awesome. Moving on.
Yeah. Let's move on. I hope that was good, Amanda.
It's a great question.
I was pouring my love on you. Thank you.
So finally, we're going to get into the collective splenic gate and the fears associated. So the collective is about perfecting life, right? It's about sharing and ensuring survival in this bigger picture collective kind of way. So starting off, we have gate 18, which is a fear of authority and challenging authority and patterns. This is a logical process with dissatisfaction with what works and what doesn't work, and the incorrect pattern being threatening to life, and finding protection through structure.
Structure, sharing, survival ensured through, we had the stream of awareness called instinct, sudden instinct. We have intuition. We just left that. Beautiful intuition drives creativity like there's no tomorrow. Comes with certain sadnesses. And then we've got this collective process, which is the stream of taste. And it is, what is it that suits your judgment? And the thing is, it's in the logical stream of this taste is a logical thing. People think, oh, someone's taste is so subjective, because this is about one's own taste. And the thing is, because we're all of the same human species, it's real easy for my taste to be aligned enough with your taste. And suddenly we start setting a pattern. It becomes logical. And then we derive language from all of this. And that language becomes logical in and of itself. And the next thing you know, we're able to portray that logically somehow through identification, through getting the other side involved, through the sharing, through the energy of joy coming out of 58 that can't wait. And, it makes the whole thing logical. Gate 18 challenges the pattern. It's the first gatekeeper. 58 starts the pattern. And then 18 literally challenges, the first one to challenge it, the first one to try and kick the tires of it, the first one to look under the hood, the first one to notice, you didn't dust everything right, whatever. All of these things, it's constantly splenically aware as to a certain perfecting process. It just wants it good. It's very sad when it can't have it good and prettier and more logicaler. If that's not a word, but that's what it wants. And anything that falls out of that, it's got the values of Gate 50. And the values are a humanistic cooperation guaranteeing basic human rights is still there from 50. And I think that's the human rights thing, I think, is in one of the headings of Gate 18. It's either that or in the first line, probably. And it's designed to challenge things, and it will even challenge the king and the queen. It will challenge the tribal lawgiver. And from a very young age, it's taught not to challenge. It gets taken away from its nature, when its real job is to keep up what's worth being challenged and recognize that sometimes I challenge stuff just to make sure it's still working good. It's like, dude, the toaster works fine. Yeah, I know. I unplugged it and plugged it back in, make sure it's still perfectly working. Okay.
Yeah, check the fire detector.
Just a fire detector. Yeah, well, it worked yesterday. Spleen, aware, safety. Now, fire detector is probably a really good one. Absolutely. This channel on a marksman with his rifles. Check it all, dude. Everything is, and he'll be the first one because he's sharing a logical process that makes sure all the other marksmen in his group aren't gonna, have any harm. What are they doing? Gate 18 is looking around, challenging that. I challenge it. What is that? What oil are you using on that? That thing's not clean. What did you do? Blah blah blah. Don't overstuff that. Whatever the thing is, they're challenging it all, and it can seem a little bit bitchy at times, but it's there meant to make sure it still works and kick the tires. And it's wicked aware, and it brings such a finesse and a caress to the new logical process that's getting fired up here. There's a process being fired up here that is going to show up in how schools run and how the marksmen show up at the right place and how all the cops work right and how government works and how you and I work and how everything works. And we hate it when it doesn't work. This is the area of the body graph going up through the head center, and we'll get there later, that guarantees the stuff works or not. And it's willing to stay at it for a lifetime. All of these things are willing to repeat. I told you I saw that thing there. No, I saw that thing there. This is one place in the spleen that will repeat, but it's the rest of the motorized function and the need to share that bring it back out. How we always say the spleen doesn't come back again. Sort of, it doesn't, except 18 will not stop whatever its challenge is. So what's its real fear? What's Gate's true fear? It's authority. That something will attempt to break its challenge, and it might actually have to fight it. It might have to do something more. So it's always looking for creative ways to get around that and make sure that it's not an unreasonable, illogical fear. So if you have a fear of authority and you're afraid of asking for a raise and you've got a Gate 18, sooner or later, you're going to find a way to basically point out and challenge the current rate of pay you're at for the rate of pay you're supposed to have. And if you're waiting and waiting and waiting, it's in a projected channel. So sooner or later, it's going to get better. And doesn't matter what your type is, and it's going to come out like a bitch fest rather than like the normal, hey, dude, I've been thinking about this. We're going to have to talk about a raise at some point. I'm a fourth line, so I'll abdicate. We got to talk about a raise at some point. I mean, unless you're going to tell me, no, that's not in the future at all, but I have to bring it up. That's a normal thing. Not I've been waiting 5 weeks and no one ever, you wouldn't bring it up. You wouldn't even look at me. And finally I'm blowing up over it. 18 has got a lot of power in that it helps control the process. By the way, everything Gate 18 notices, just like 28 pulls 57 towards it, everything Gate 18 notices, slightly different process, it drips into 48. And that's why when we get to 48 in the well, you'll see 48 is the direct beneficiary of everything Gate 18 could possibly ever do. And it's cumulative, splenic cumulative. Think of how incredible our immune system is. It remembers stuff from back when we were reptiles that it protects us against today. So its memory is incredible. It's just not mental memory that holds on to things. This is practical survival. So all of it feeds into Gate 48. These two things go together and they guarantee a logical process we can all identify with.
Yeah, the 1858 as a channel is interesting because the 18 is about correcting in order for there to be more vitality, like 58 is joy, it's vitality, and in that collective sharing kind of way. So actually one of my best friends, she has the 1858 and she has that channel alone split from her manifesting generator stuff going on. And I've watched this with her where it's her projected channel and she notices things and she just wants to fix it. And she's the most phenomenal nurse. Like she's absolutely brilliant. And she just wants to fix like the entire medical industry. She wants to fix nursing at this national level. And for years, she's been wanting to do it and do these trainings and do these teachings. And it's this projected channel that she just can't get out because it hasn't been invited. It hasn't been invited. I was like, just wait, just build it up, build it up. And she's finally being recognized and being invited, and now it's finally happened. She's been invited to create this whole new course system with the nurses to do it with her, you know, newfangled methodology to correct that where there is a lack of vitality. And so yeah, it would be incredibly frustrating and just bitter and enraging if you're like, I want to fix this thing, I want to fix this thing. Well, you have
I'm
to be
smiling because
it.
it's killing me, man. It's like, so I love that. I love her story. So she waited, but at no time did this projected channel actually only shut up. It did not successfully wait as it relates to only waiting. 18 challenged little things. It found little micro things to make sure that the point was still there, that ultimately we'll all hop on this pattern and share it together of this new course. So she was dropping hints. 18, if it tries to go low key, at very least when there's something really good going on for it, because that joy is for vitality. And the vitality is to the greater betterment of mankind, just period. It guarantees movement towards beauty and communion and spirit and so forth. So I'm just laughing because I would guess almost anything. She still found ways to drop her hints about the thing. So when it finally came together, it was already there. 18 is sharp, it's spleen, it's powerful. It's like right now. Remember, its awareness is now. Someone walked by and said something, they were holding a thing a certain way. It's like, yeah, let's put that in. She'd drop a little thing about the course, but wouldn't say the course, she'd just say the thing. Yep.
Fantastic. Ready to mosey?
Mm-hmm.
So next up, we have gate 48, which is about inadequacy, a fear of inadequacy, a fear of a lack of depth, because gate 48 is about having this depth to share. So it's a lack of depth. And the fear is being unable to articulate the solution, similar to my own lack of articulation.
It's got so much weight on its shoulders. So 18 is designed to keep dripping the material that fills the well of 48, but 48's well is also filled by the fact that it is a design in a world getting filled up by everything else as well. You know what I'm saying? So 48's well is constantly being jammed full of practical, logical depth that will ultimately get to what's the thing we want? Yeah, what's the solution? It's no good to say there's a problem without a solution somehow. I mean, it's not as rewarding. The solution is the reward of the stream of awareness. The articulation is just really finishing the business of collecting the reward, you know, when we get to gate 16. So the buck stops at 48. And 18 says, I'm on the cross of service. I'm in service. I'm going to be in service. This is service stuff, blah, 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 blah. So it's constantly serving and dropping in more things, more challenges, more things, more awarenesses, more possibilities to the solution, more aid to the solution. 48 is the well that puts together and comes up with the solution. The only thing is, when you're on the cross of service, you're a busybody trying to be in service. Great. It's hard when you can't. When you're on the cross with 48, you then move to the cross of tension, because as I have this solution, it brings tension. Solutions bring tension. They just bring tension because there's tension on the way to needing a solution. There's tension if the solution isn't exactly the solution I would have. There's tension if that solution is sort of a big deal, and I don't know if I even want to do all of that. The only time there's no tension is when the solution is exactly what you were looking for, and that's not the norm. You got to go through a certain amount of tension. And so 48, its fear of inadequacy is because the tension robs it of its capacity to deliver and share the solution. Remember, sharing, need to share, compelled to share. What for? Again, the betterment of mankind, because the solution is always going to be something that betters our movement towards beauty and communion. That's the solution. That's what I'm saying. The buck towards beauty and communion stops here, because this ends up being the great well and the depth of the information that is the one language. You take all the circuitries, you got 2 collectives, 2 individuals, 2 tribes, and an integration. That's 7 different circuitries, just call them that. And this logical collective, 1 of 7, says, I'm the language that all of humanity can speak collectively and be aware that they're doing that. Even in music. Logically, it's like, yeah, we're all experiencing that same thing. I love that. Gave me joy. There's a solution to how this will all get written down on paper, and we'll be able to pass that music paper along, and everyone else will be able to play it 100 years from now. That's what I'm getting at. This comes up with that. This computer is going to work best this way. Everyone will have the same awareness of how this computer program works. This is the thing that gave us the standardized nuts and bolts. So when I put my bicycle together, it was always a 9/8 that was on the back axle. 100% of the time. That's a solution, and a big one. Someone had to design it. Someone had to go through the trial and error of all that. Someone had to live out a third line of 58, a third line of 18, a third line of 48 tension before it ever got expressed. You see what I'm saying? So the buck stops here is to create that great depth of solutions that speak to the joy in the first place. That is this joy for vitality. So fear of inadequacy, that's the funniest thing. That's all it is loaded with adequacy. And that's why it's afraid, because it doesn't even know. It's like telling a fish it's in water. And if you suddenly tell it, hey, water, dude, water's wicked bad for you. Didn't you know? It's just like, oh my God, I'm only in water. It's like, I gotta know what's bad. Like, dude, calm down. I was kidding. It doesn't realize that the depth is guaranteed. God forbid it's not God forbid. I mean, if it's unconscious in a red line, it just comes out. And the inadequacy can be devastating, because it'll happen right now and suddenly you just don't know why. And then your mind picks that up and holds on to it and says, remember, fool, you were inadequate. So it becomes a groove. This one becomes a mental conditioning that will have you staying at it for too long, until you recognize, what is a splenic fear good for? It's good for something right now. It's not good for tomorrow, per se. It's something that it may be aware of tomorrow. You know what I mean? Hey, tomorrow you better, read that speech one more time so you're not inadequately sounding like a fool when you give it. Sure. But that's not right now. Right now is read it now too, maybe so that you don't sound inadequate. But regardless, it is only now. So what is that fear really good for? Hey, I better polish this up. That's all this thing is supposed to tell you. Hey, I better polish this up. Or I do have a deep awareness that I don't got the goods yet. I better cease and desist. Well, I said I was going to do this. That's your fault. Your not self got caught up in something you didn't want to do, and you lost track of this and that. So what? Do what the 4-year-old does. They don't quit, they stop. 4-year-old was never a quitter at anything. It simply would stop things. So you got to remember that that's what you're doing when the once in a while comes along where your spontaneity went too far, and now you just have to stop. And a good thing would be like, I don't have the depth yet, and I thought I did. Honesty will relieve you of all of that in that moment by just simply saying it.
Yeah, I'm ill-equipped at this moment.
I'm ill-equipped at this moment. I thought I had depth. Dan, you told us you spent 2 weeks. And I was wrong. Sorry. Oops. Yep. I still love you. I hope you still love me. I didn't mean it.
Another really fun thing about gate 48 is that gate 48 is transiting in the Earth during April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Oh, God.
And it's about not being grounded in enough depth. It's about lack of depth and the lack of articulation and inadequacy, and it's being a fool.
Being unable to articulate the solution. Yeah, let's talk about what gate 48 wants. It wants gate 16. If ever there was a yearning, some of the biggest yearnings you could articulate easily to someone and they would recognize it, would be this one. I can think of others, but 16 is the capacity and the skills and the gate of enthusiasm that is designed to bring manifest into the world the thing you desperately want to share. That's the thing. 48 can get real bitter, even more so than 18, because 18 is just sharing quickly as a spleen. 48 is building it up, saying, I want to share this, and it can't, so it knows it doesn't need to have a gate 16. The depth will come out because it always gets recognized. And the fear of inadequacy, deep-seated as may go, and certain adrenalized hit of fear that may suddenly, land upon you. It's only right now. And you just have to determine, am I holding on to this greater than 5 or 10 minutes? Just to see, let that be your sort of means test, 5 to 10 minutes. And if I can't let it go, that's not me, not letting it go. That's my not self.
Yeah, it's the mind taking over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one of the lessons to learn with these collective fears regarding challenging authority, because the 18 is going to challenge the authority and the patterns, is instead of maybe just challenging the authority in this immature kind of childish way, you must be able to replace it with a worthy pattern replacement. You can't just be like, screw the man and not have something better.
Right.
If you're
Screw the man, down with the man.
Yeah, what do you want there instead? I don't know. It doesn't work out so great. So the 18 is about having the capacity to challenge authority and patterns that are not correct. And the 48 carries out that potential solution and expresses it.
And is able to express the depth of it and sort of totally maneuver through and churn up the depth of all the things that would have to be said about it to help bring the right whatever, so that when it gets heard in gate 16, ultimately, or in life, you don't need a gate 16. When it gets heard in life, next thing you know, you get to share that now. And it's very powerful. We need to share these things.
Absolutely.
Or find new people.
Yeah. So I'm going to wrap it up with a quote from Ra Uru Hu, who is the founder, creator, developer of the human design system. No human being is free from fears. Fear is a part of our human process. To understand fear through human design, to understand the gates of fear in your chart will give you incredible insight into your life. It will give you a deep relief that there's nothing wrong with you. Fear is to be recognized and understood. By entering into things correctly through living out the strategy of your type, fears can cease to be something that are perceived as problematic or debilitating. They can be seen for what they are, mechanics of the human way, and a byproduct of awareness and its potentials.
This is just an incredible, incredible way to put this. I love the way Rob would say these things and get them all so succinct. He's saying exactly what we've been saying all along. Don't hang on to these things. They are there. Consider it a miracle that you have this engine of awareness that points at all the things we just pointed at. Don't want to get it wrong, don't want to fail. Let's get some purpose here. Let's have the right values here. Hey, let's look at the past. What was that going on with that? Let's come to meet. Let's be alert. Let's have intuition. Let's get a good solution. Let's play some good songs. Let's fix it. Let's work on what has been spoiled. What? I don't know. That sounds like a perfect husband or wife to me. That's right. I mean, think about that. And that's in our awareness. That's something that we can guarantee will continually move us in an aware way that we can now look in on and see. It's incredible. So once again, Ra Uru Hu has outdone himself, the master teacher and the man who brought it all. We can never give him enough thanks.
Yeah, truly.
Look what that made. He did not have to go through all of this. As
No.
much as he was all washed up after all that happened, he was a manifestor ego. He could have figured out a way to get a suit and a tie and got a regular job and never dealt with any of this. Right? He could have just done that.
Well, wasn't he like, I didn't realize that he was like a successful media businessman.
He was a media mogul for a little while, not full on mogul, but because
he was doing well.
He was doing wicked good. He was able to be married 3 times and buy 3 houses 3 times and just do the whole thing.
He was doing well enough for that. Yeah. And then like just kind of ditched it all to go on this crazy human design journey.
He ditched it all because he was a manifestor out of time. And he couldn't understand why he was so mad and was getting so ramped up inside the emotional way when really his spleen was the thing informing him. And why would it all stop as soon as he went away from them? So he must be crazy. He left because at the end, he thought he was just crazy and no good for anyone anymore. Yeah, he did an altruistic thing, a very gate 28 type thing.
I'll
You know,
just
he
go
doesn't.
somewhere else.
I'll just go someplace else.
I
The
wonder also
15,
with this 51.
yep, 5125 thing. He
Like,
just said, nope, my
I'm
own
gonna
way.
go in a new direction.
So that's a lot.
Yeah. So that was the first part of our fear series, going through the 3 awareness centers. So that was the splenic section. Next week, we're going to go through the ajna and the solar plexus after that. Do you have any other thoughts on our splenic fear exploration today?
No, I mean, we could come up with hundreds of them. Just recognize the frequency of the spleen is in the now. It is your immune system, so it is there to keep us safe. Washes your blood. It means that this is to be protected. If you have it open, you're not spontaneous, but you want to be. If you have it defined, you're spontaneous when you want to be. And read the fears and recognize these are in you. Whatever gates you have, you experience them, and look at it like a great gift, and see how well you can tune it down to lasting only a minute, back to the 4-year-old factory settings where it just doesn't matter, except right now.
Yeah. I was also reminded of the litany against fear from Dune, Frank Herbert's Dune. My boyfriend loves Dune, so I'm well versed in Dune. But the litany against fear goes: I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
My goodness,
I know it's heavy.
such heaviness.
I know. The overall, though, is just with the spleen, whether defined or undefined, is just is this a legitimate fear? Right? If there's a shark, maybe don't go in the water. If there's a tiger, maybe don't mess with it, kind of stuff. Legitimate fears of actual danger. But if it's the butterflies in your stomach before, reading a speech or going on stage, or, social anxiety or something like that, where it's cool, I can acknowledge the butterflies in the stomach, but I don't need to let them ruin my life and stop me from living life when there's not an actual danger in my path.
And such is the recognition of spleen. Spleen says, hey, dude, you're okay in about 1 or 2 nows from now. I just gave you what you needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's there to clean it up quickly. Not mine. Mine doesn't clean anything up quickly, except once in a while with its great idea or something. But then it's still not cleaned up. It's got to get stimulated. Spleen
Mm-hmm.
is like getting rid of all that stimulation, getting back to a nice, even steady state, where 32 would like to keep it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel pretty good about spleen. What are we moving on to next this morning?
Yeah, so we're going to continue today's show. We're going to do a couple more of the juxtaposition incarnation crosses, because that's one of the other crazy ideas I have, is going through all 192 or whatever insane amount of incarnation crosses. And so we're going to go. Yeah. And
how
so
many are there? I forgot.
There's 112, but then if you count all the variations, it's 192, something like that, numbers. But so we're going to continue the juxtaposition. We're going to do the fates and the moods, probably just that. We'll see if we go further. But I'm going to run away for a second. I'm going to let Danny do his little shtick, and I will be back, and we'll dive into some incarnation crosses.
So anybody who's watching, this is basically to let everyone know. I do readings, I do family counseling, I do everything as it relates to human design. We check the family penta, we dig in deeply, and if anyone out there is looking to have their body graph read, I'm a seasoned pro. I've been at this forever, and I lucked out. It just comes natural to me. So if you want to have yourself read, or a family member, especially couples, I can't tell you how many marriages that we help get right on track that we're starting to get, funny. So bring yourself in for a reading at any level. And if we do an individual reading, it'll go for at least 2 hours. And then there's always follow up with that. So you don't even need to bring your questions. You don't even have to have any questions. Just know that I'm going to dig into your chart, and I'm going to sort of get under your skin a little bit. We're going to realize what these things are. And then we're going to get you into this beautiful experiment. And suddenly you'll be empowered to start being yourself. Once you see it the first time, there's only one real reaction, and it's a smile. You put a smile on your face. You just seen something that you hadn't seen since you were 4, and we get it all back to those factory settings. So that's basically my pitch to you. I forget what far information is sitting inside the little show notes down below. but either way, you can email me here. That's also, you can find me on Instagram at Danny Guru HD. But either way, emailing me is always good, and then we'll get that underway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Great job,
Moni, while
Danny.
you start that, I have the exact same request back at you. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye. Fantastic. Thanks everyone for hanging out while we run away to stretch our legs a little bit. If you guys have any questions or comments or whatever, feel free to like jump in on the comments and I'll chat with you guys until Danny makes his epic return so we can go through these incarnation crosses. Because I don't know, I always find the incarnation crosses fascinating. And then you hear about the main ones, like the more common right angles, and then maybe some of the left angles with these juxtapositions. It just, there's what, 64 different juxtapositions because they're only through the 4-1 profile. So it's kind of been neat to study and kind of learn about them in this way. So today we're going to be doing the fates and then the moods. So that'll be great. And Danny's back. Perfect, because I ran out of things to say.
I hurried.
I appreciate it. So continuing on, we are going to be doing our juxtaposition crosses of fates. We're going to be going through a couple of them. And so this is going to be really fun if I can get my little blip on them. So the fates. So the first off, we're going to start a little bit with some of the mythology. So the fates, or the Moirai in Greek mythology, are a trio of deities embodying the concept of destiny and the inevitable progression of human life. They hold a central place in Greek thought, symbolizing the unyielding force of fate that governs both mortals and, to some extent, the gods themselves. The three sisters, Clotho, Lycasis, and Atropos, each have a distinct role in shaping the course of every individual's existence, often depicted as weaving or managing a metaphorical thread of life. So Clotho is the spinner, begins the process by spinning the thread of life. She determines the moment a person is born and sets the initial conditions of their existence. Her role signifies the origin of life and the potential paths it might take, though she does not dictate the details alone. Lycasis, the allotter, measures the thread, deciding the length and quality of a person's life. She assigns destinies, determining what events, opportunities, or challenges an individual will encounter. Her work reflects the idea that life's duration and experiences are preordained, though some myths suggest a degree of flexibility in how destinies unfold. And finally, Atropos, the unturnable or inevitable, cuts the thread, choosing the moment and manner of death. Her role is final and absolute, underscoring the certainty of mortality. Once she makes her cut, no one, not even the gods, can alter the outcome. The fates are often portrayed as stern, impartial figures operating beyond the influence of other deities. They are typically visualized as older women, sometimes grim or haggard, working at the loom or with spinning tools, emphasizing their role as cosmic weavers. Their imagery evokes the idea that life is a tapestry, with each thread carefully crafted yet ultimately subject to their control. Fates reflect ancient Greek views on determinism versus free will. While individuals can make choices, the Moirai's overarching power suggests that certain outcomes were inevitable, a tension that permeates Greek literature and philosophy. Symbolically, fates represent the universal truths of rebirth, life's journey, and death, serving as a reminder of human limitations in the face of cosmic order. Their influence extends beyond Greece, with parallels in other traditions like the Norse Norns or Roman Parse, highlighting the cross-cultural resonance of fate as a governing force.
Fate, as it relates to a way, is something that, well, there's the fear of the fates. That's the fear, I guess we're talking about. This must be gate 30. So the two things I heard in there, the cosmic fates, as well as this impartiality. And the thing is, this whole juxtaposition, I guess we're going to move on to another slide that has it all in there, right?
Yeah, with more of the details. Yep. That was just my little mythology background.
Yep. Oh, I can't wait to get into it because there's so much going on with this gate 30 as it relates to a juxtaposition. Remember, people, the juxtaposition is right in the middle of the right angle and the left angle. It serves as a bridge between the two, and it's called fixed fate for a reason, because this is a fixed way for a person. It is the most fixed of the 12 crosses. So keep that in mind as we move on.
Absolutely. So thank you to everyone who's hanging out, who is watching with us live on the replay. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, hanging out. We love having you. Thanks for helping us grow. It's been really fun. We just got to 4,000 watch hours. So that's like a whole big deal. So thanks.
Share this. Yes, share. Tell your friends, man. Let's get more questions rolling and all that.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive into it. So the juxtaposition cross of fates, this involves the solar plexus, the sacral, and the throat centers. And it's part of the quarter of initiation, which is about mental inspiration. And it's the 30, 29, 34, and 20. And it happens more or less around February 15th, give or take, depending on the year. These are energetic and persevering charismatics at the mercy of the fates, who throw caution to their wind in their obsessive commitment to fulfill their desire, and their potential mystic teachers. And then Ra continues on with this fates, which is operating with the personality sun in gate 30. Gate 30 is the place of fate. It's also the place of the sweet and the sour. That's what life is, and it's all here. The sweet and the sour of life is here in gate 30. The 8 and 14 have disappeared, and they've been replaced by the 34-20. The 8 and the 14 were part of the previous cross. And now you're dealing with a very, very powerful definition. The 34-20 makes up the channel of charisma. So this person is automatically a manifesting generator. This is an incarnation looking for an accident. That's what they do. Incarnations looking for accidents, and they are busy right up until the moment that the accident comes. Busy, busy, busy. I have made my commitment now. Now I am burning out. One of the extraordinary things is that some of the most profound discoveries that we have are made by the totally and absolutely obsessed. The 4-1 juxtaposition cross of fates is very, very rare. Any juxtaposition cross is going to be really rare because it's only the 4-1 profiles that make up these juxtaposition crosses. So just by statistic numbers, they're all very rare. They are going to be deeply obsessed and take it to the extreme. These types of people will take it to the extreme, burn out, and fail in doing so. We need these beings as they don't give up. They just don't give up. Where so many others will give up, they will not give up. They're in the process and they will continue it at any cost. They picked up the 2034 unconscious, which leads to the next cross, which will be the cross of industry.
Yeah, but as you do go through the crosses, we just left contagion to get to this juxtaposition. And when we move on to the next right angle, we'll be in the sleeping phoenix. So this is sandwiched right in between them. Anyways, 30 is about handling a desire, and it's in the emotional solar plex. So it starts the emotional nervous making process here through this stream of experience and needing to experience things. And so it's called the clinging fire. It clings to the feeling. It just got this feeling enabled and empowered and energized by gate 41 below it when it makes that whole channel. And so this channel of recognition, right? The recognition of a feeling and a desire, and it's emotional, so it can go up and down in a wave, and it does have a fear. It's afraid of the fates. Its fear is the name of this juxtaposition cross. It's a fear that fate will get in the way, that there will be some. So while they're busy doing their thing, if they allow this fear to show up, it gives them an emotional clarity. If they just are able to go slow long enough, 34-20 doesn't really help that much, but going slow. But if they are, they'll be able to take the time and avoid some of those things. The fear of fates doesn't, and fate itself, and this gate, the clinging fire, it's supposed to cling to that feeling. Make it less personal. The feeling it clung to was a shared feeling. It's shared in the consciousness field. You're going to have to trust me on that. Doesn't matter how much it's your feeling in that moment. Of course it's yours. You're the one experiencing it. I get it. But it's still in the consciousness field. You can't always get what you want. And that's a Rolling Stones song, and it's also the rock and roll anthem for this gate. You just can't always get what you want because you can try some time, but fate will get in the way. Fate sometimes gets in the way, so that's not a mistake. That's a recognition. Recognize it. Again, a projected channel, part of an emotional process. And unlike the spleen, which the fear comes through and the fear goes out, the fear comes through and the fear goes out. Fear is only meant to last in the moment, but the emotional process is still clarifying. So it'll receive another fear. It might even live in fear a little bit, but again, the 4-year-old wouldn't. It would just receive it and still keep processing. So this is a time to slow down. Solar plex says slow down, no matter what, and sleep on it and think about it for a little while. Like let it, let it mature and marinate. So that's what gate 30 is supposed to do. When you have this and you have this juxtaposition cross, you go ahead and be as busy and energetic as you want. Try not to hold on to everything personally. And that's really the thing for this, so that it doesn't break. Too many disappointments and this particular gate will break. I knew it. It never works. This personal, I mean, why even try anymore? Could easily be a thing. Well, but of course the emotion's gonna come back around, drag them right back into it. So not like you can stay there, but that's this gate, that's this juxtaposition cross.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So this juxtaposition cross of fates, the lesson is surrendering to passionate destiny and embracing life's unpredictability. The purpose is to follow intense desires with gate 30, commitment, gate 29, and acting powerfully, gate 34, in the now with gate 20. And the role is to inspire others by living fully in the moment, accepting fate's flow.
Remember, this process is supposed to be shared. And when it's not being shared, like the sharing didn't work out, it's just not working out. You're not getting it out into the world and living it out in that way. Let it go. Seriously, this is great practice. This is, if ever we were going to have that, what's that board that they use in the kung fu dojos that you hit it with your fist and it makes them bleed because it's just rope on a hard oak board, and you got to hit it with your forearm. This is that. You build up some serious, resistance to all of that.
Perfect. You ready to mosey to the next cross?
Sure.
So here we have the juxtaposition cross of moods. So this will continue our series in our juxtaposition crosses, all of our incarnation crosses. We're going to go through all 100 whatever of them. We're going to go through all the incarnation crosses. So here we have the juxtaposition cross of moods.
So moods is going to be another one that has got all kinds of, it's got an emotional aspect to it. We'll see when we move on.
Perfect. So the juxtaposition cross of moods, this involves the solar plexus, the sacral, and the throat. And it's part of the quarter of initiation, which is very about mental inspiration. And the gates are the 55, the 59, the 9, and the 16. And it occurs around February 21st, more or less. These are people who, out of a need for depth and to know truth, are fixed in their moods and have great creative potential. And these are great creative teachers. Ra continues on. The juxtaposition cross of moods, which operates through the sun, the personality sun in gate 55. It's about having a fixed fate. Again, all the juxtaposition crosses, these are the 4-1 profiles. They have a very fixed fate. And the transition of the design sun earth, the busyness of the 3420 disappears with that shift. We're moving out of the 2034, and the design sun in 9 brings the energy for detailed work. The design earth in gate 16 is all about skill and the potential to be identified. These are people who suffer from severe psychological problems. Remember, the 55 can be enormously disturbing. The 55 is like abundance and lack, so there can be those kinds of issues popping up. Most human beings don't understand the nature of melancholy and don't know how to deal with it. Here, somebody is deeply fixed in their moods, and they can become fixed in depression, but not simply going through the fluctuation, but by identifying it so deeply with it that their mood may never get out of it, never. So it's a deep need to know, a deep need for depth, and a deep need to find the truth. They can be extraordinary creative forces and very, very talented, with gate 16 part of the channel of talent.
It's supposed to be deeply creative. And by the way, moods sort of has a bad connotation to it, right? It's like,
You're
oh,
in a
they're
bad
moody.
mood.
They're in a bad mood, or they're moody, or whatever. Think about what this gate is doing. If 55 is in the sun and it knows that intimacy is going to be part of its gig, it's looking for the right social connection ultimately that fills the spirit. And there's a focus and a detail on what's going to be good about all of that. So it comes with the receipts to be able to know. And it's part of why moods is this juxtaposition, because the results in the receipts, that's 9 and 16, always able to sort of get to the details of it all logically. And to be able to express those details means you're always manifesting a reason to have a bad mood. Is the thing. That's why, and it doesn't have to be that. What you're supposed to be manifesting is recognizing that the fear of 55 is the fear of emptiness. Emptiness is about emotional emptiness because it's a solar plex gate. And so the emptiness is low of spirit. My cup is half empty. And versus when you notice it, it sort of brings you through a melancholy over a day that brings you back into something creative. These moods are there to show everyone else, I go through a mood, I get creative. I go through a mood, I get creative. Let's not forget the instruction we're supposed to give our emotional children, no matter what their type, is when we see the emotional wave, and because we can feel it, is to let them know, oh, that's okay, it passes, and you always get smarter on the other side. We're supposed to start conditioning our children young to know that so they never get swept away on meaning making. The cross of moods people have to, even more than the 30. I said, don't let it get personal on the 30, gate 30. On this one, not only don't let it get personal, but don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take any of it very seriously. The mood's going to change. Learn to ride this thing in such a way that you're always getting smarter and more emotionally intelligent on the other side of it, such that you flip your perspective and you stop seeing anything as half empty and you just always see everything on its way to half full. This is where that 4-year-old was, and it was only half empty for a few minutes, not long, and then something new and creative would come out again. That's where we're supposed to be with it. If we get caught away, they get very fixed in their moods. Fourth lines are very fixed. And 55 line 4, I have no idea what it is, but it's going to be very fixed on attempting to externalize and talk about what those moods are and see if there's any other ears in the world, left ears, 22s and 39s, willing to provoke and listen, and 12s willing to empower. What am I doing? I'm reading right up the 39 through 55, up to the 22 and the 12, stream of awareness, emotional awareness. About passion and passion with another and being a social being. So the moods are how to conduct ourselves in social ways. The moods are we have healthy social bonds. The moods are the spirit is filled or not within these bonds and the things that we make, that we empower each other. And the moods are intelligence making, but you're always in a mood. You're not right for me. You can skip the other niceties, when that happens in that particular time, because it's so important these people be around folks that honor that. Folks, if you're on the juxtaposition cross of moods, we'll be able to tell you inside of a day, at most within one reading, if you're with the right partner, for instance. And not that there's anything wrong with that person, but they'll need to know certain things so that they can surrender. Your moods can't be helped. And the mood ultimately fills the spirit. And what does that do? It drives the direction towards beauty and communion. The mood is the right mood towards beauty and communion, or the wrong mood into the not self. This gives us that awareness. Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit of a hard road to get that awareness, but it's juicy, good awareness we need. Not everything comes easy. This is an example of that.
Perfect. So the juxtaposition cross of moods, the lesson is navigating emotional waves to inspire focused enthusiasm. The purpose is to channel emotional depth with gate. To channel emotional depth with gate 55 and intimacy with gate 59 into precise focus, gate 9, and skill, gate 16. The role is stabilizing others' emotions through disciplined passion.
And the stabilizing is logical, part of that logical process, by the way. And the stabilizing of yourself is not what's supposed to be stabilized. you're supposed to have moods. So unless it is supposed to be stabilized, as long as you have the perception that, oh, I'm supposed to have moods, then that's when I'm stable. Think about that. That's actually, and it's a gorgeous place to be because so much fruitful emotional awareness comes out of this.
Perfect. You feel good?
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. That is the continuation of our Incarnation Cross series. So we're well on our way.
Yeah. How many of these do we have down so far? 5 or 10 by now?
We went through the Cross of the Sphinx and the 4 varieties, and now we went through 4 varieties, 4 of the juxtaposition crosses. So
We'll do 4 left angles next or something.
We'll do like 2 left angles with 2 variations each is kind of
I
how
see what's happening here.
Yeah.
Oh God, it is going to take a while.
This is going to take like a year and a half to go through them all. It's like we've gone through 8 of 192.
Let's splurge and get them all done in one day. I'm joking. Joking. Anyways, it's a joy to do because juxtapositions being rare, they need to be given their due. You know, we can't ignore them because they serve a bridge between the left and the right angle people. So we need it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to split it up in this way, because it's like, oh, it'd be really easy to do all the right angle crosses and then do all the left angle ones and kind of just like do the juxtapositions at the end because like whatever. But I was like, no, that feels wrong. Let's like split it up kind of evenly and make our way through all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I feel good about it, Moni. I think we did good. Onward and upward.
Absolutely. So fantastic. Well, thank you, Danny. Thank you to everyone who is hanging out, who likes, subscribed, asks us questions, watching, doing all the things. We love having you. Thank you so much. And we will catch you next time. Oh, yeah, next time. I should tell you about next time's episode. So next episode is going to be what is next episode? We're going to continue the splenic. No, we're going to continue the fear gates with the ajna. So we'll go through all 6 of those ajna gates, and then we will start off our left angle crosses, which I think it's masks and revolution. That's kind of like my next goal for that. So yeah, that'll be next week. The ajna, fear gates, going through the left angle, the masks revolution. The week after that, we'll do the emotional solar plexus gates. And then right angle cross of explanation, I think, would be next. And then after that, we'll continue the Godhead series, because that'll be the week before Halloween. It'll be the 29th. And so
are we ever going to be able to read people's designs? Like pick a famous person and just pull it up and say, hey, this is what this guy's all about. Or
I'm open to the ideas. You got to present them to me because I just do this stuff on my own. So if you want to talk about doing stuff, we can totally do that. But yeah, so right before Halloween, it'll be Godhead's Prometheus and Hades. So
wow.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's like that seems appropriate for Halloween.
Hades. So we'll find out.
I know, exactly. And then we'll do the open centers and continue on from there. So it'll be super great, super groovy, having a lot of fun. Love having you, and we will catch you next time.
Pay attention to your fear gates, people. They're there to make you smart. Love you very much. Catch you next time.